so great.
Hey, you guys! Don't adjust your screen. No, this is not a rerun. This is Friday night. It's not Wednesday night. We're doing a pop-up, the hit list. We're doing a truncated cast tonight because we had to come through and talk to our cousins about all the breaking news that's been in the headlines this week. And of course, our cast is not available on Friday night. So I have Shaq and Natasha holding it down with me tonight. Marcus, Brandy, Jaden, Michael, Tamar, Michelle. They'll all be back next week. Brittany will be back for the Met
They
Gala.
all got lives today, apparently.
Yeah. They all have lives. I hope they're watching and sharing, or will watch and share. But the crew will be back next week, live and in color. We have Met Ball coming up. You know, that's Christmas for me. Brittany will be making a return for our Met Ball special. So we have some exciting things coming up.
You live on Facebook yet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am live on Facebook, but I just have not shared it yet. That's the thing. Let's take care of that real quick.
I'm posting the YouTube link right now.
So I hope all of our watchers have missed us because we have a lot of content coming up. It's posted, you guys. And so tonight we're having a very short show. We want to just talk about some breaking things that's been happening in the world and entertainment. People are just acting a fool. But first off, how are you ladies doing tonight? Like we haven't talked before. I know how you guys are doing, but how are you doing to everyone who's watching? Shaq, you want to go first?
Man, I'm making it. You know, as I shared, I'm dealing with some personal issues right now, but I'm getting through them. I'm one day at a time. Y'all just keep me in prayer. How about that?
That's one thing that we can do is keep you in prayers. Natasha, how about you? How are you doing?
You know, getting my ass kicked over here too. Life is a Mortal Kombat. Life is life in. I feel like I'm in a real life Mortal Kombat match right now. But you know, we surviving. Happy Friday. I can't believe we made it here. I didn't think I was gonna make it here a couple of times. So happy Friday to y'all.
God is good.
God is good.
Right. And all the time he is good. I'm sorry, you guys. I got the scratchy throat thing going on.
How's your week going, Ashleigh?
My week is going. I've had a non-eventful week. I've been a little under the weather, but doing that, and then I had we'll talk about that next week. I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get into the thing of the things before we get into our you guys, I'm sorry, I'm having a blank. Disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under section 107, because we have a lot of copyright stuff that could go down tonight. So, Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. You guys know we're doing research over here. Fair use is a use prohibited by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. So let's move on. Let's get to our first story. I don't know how religious people are. I don't even know if you have to be religious to appreciate this man's view. I went to a Catholic school for 8-9 years, so I kind of feel some type of way, but the Pope has transitioned. And the only reason why I want to pay respects to the Pope, and this is the Catholic faith, but this Pope was not your average Pope. He kind of This is one of my favorite quotes of him. I had to find it. It says, quote, "Nobody gets scandalized if I give my blessings to a businessman who perhaps exploits people. And this is a very grave sin. But they get scandalized if I give them a homosexual. If I give them to a homosexual, this is hypocrisy." This Pope really believed in, he just believed in treat others how you want to be treated. He loved Jesus. I think he's been one of the more known religious figures who has acted as Jesus would want us to, or did, by just loving each other. He didn't discriminate against LGBTQ. He didn't discriminate against Black people. He just loved people. So do you guys think that the choosing of the next Pope, I was talking to my mom about this, and I think that this might be, the choosing of the next Pope might be the most politically maybe choice we're going to have. I think, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be, I know they try to shade the monarch from all that stuff from outside sources, but I don't know how much you can.
I can't imagine them going too open-minded or anything this time around, given the political climate and everything. I don't think nobody wants smoke with the United States now, except maybe China and then Russia. So, I can't. No, I think it's gonna be interesting. The pick will be. I do think that it will be politically charged. I find it hard to believe that it won't be. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be, but I find it hard to believe.
I think it could go opposite. I think the world right now thinks that the U.S. is a joke, the way he keeps on yo-yoing with these tariffs. And so at this point, I think they're like F around and find out. So I could really kind of see it going the other way and be like, we don't care about this.
I could see us interfering. I could see Trump being on Truth or whatever it's called, like, the new Pope is, I don't know.
I could see him trying, but look, China already said we don't care about him. So if they want to go progressive, they have the backing of other countries. And the US is the only country that exists in this world, like we thought we did.
I've seen a lot of people online predicting Pope from Africa.
Really?
I've been seeing a lot of that on Instagram.
Well, as I am a Catholic school girl myself, graduated from a Catholic high school. That is my upbringing. Went on scholarship, and I would love to see that. I would love, and I can see that. I ain't Catholic, but they welcome all if you go to their schools, and it was a good education. With that being said, Africa would be that. Okay, I could see it. I want to see it.
I could see it. I could see it. If it was ever going to happen, I could see right now.
I don't know though. They ready for all them Black folks to flood the flood Rome and Vaticans.
We shall see. We most definitely shall see. But if you guys want to see anything, you're gonna have to be up this morning at, I think the America.
This weekend?
It's today/tomorrow, but it's at 3:00 in the morning. So you're gonna have to be up that early to see the actual funeral with the time difference.
The funeral is this weekend. And when do we know when they're gonna start electing a new Pope? When they're gonna start the conclave?
They said there's a 30-day period of mourning, I believe.
Okay.
But they've already kind of started that all kind of ish. It's already enrolling. So we'll see. So I know we'll be talking about it on here.
I'll pour out a little LaCroix for my boy. That's about it though.
You're so crazy. I want to give a shout out to my favorite girl two of my favorite girls. My mom's watching, of course. She always watches. And my little she's my cousin but / niece, Ryan Page, is watching tonight. I was
hey y'all.
I was FaceTiming with her before. I said I got to get ready to go on my podcast. She said, "Oh, you have a podcast?" She didn't know that. So she's watching right now. So hi, Ryan. Love you.
Hi, Ryan. How old is Ryan?
Ryan is 10 or 11. I believe 11 or 10 or 11. Ryan, correct me in the comments. But she is watching. So let's go on to our next business at hand. Our favorite lady, our forever president, First Lady, Michelle, I almost called her president. Michelle Obama has been out in the news a lot lately.
You don't want it.
We want it, but she don't want it. And she was on her podcast earlier this week, and I sent this clip to the group because I had certain thoughts about it, and I wanted to hear what they thought about it. But let's watch the clip, and then we will talk about what Michelle Obama had to say.
Very different way intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard because, my decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right, or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hard thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had to basically trick myself out of it. And it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress. I travel with clothes just in case something pops off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I'm not going to do this thing, I got to tell my team, I don't even want to have a dress ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so easy to just say, let me do the right thing.
But then you become a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And that's what women are.
Yeah.
Shock absorbers.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. And it's not
is.
healthy.
Yeah.
It is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to be shock absorbers for your husband, for your children, for your mom, for your family, your loved ones, because of where you were sitting in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair to you. When do you ever get to live for you?
Mm-hmm.
I applaud you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that you are taking care of yourself in the way.
So my question I posed to the group was, do we think that's fair? I can see it from both sides. This is a job her husband, I mean, when you link in marriage and you're a public servant, you agree as a couple that we're going to do this. It's going to change our life, our family structure. It's going to change everything forever. So if you agree to that and you have all these millions of people that look up to you, is that fair to say that, okay, I've done it, now I don't want to be involved anymore? That's my take. But I can also understand what she's gone through so much, even 10 times more than other first ladies has gone for being the first of. So she's had to endure a lot. So maybe it is time for her to just have her own life. So what do you think? Well, I'll take it to you first, Natasha, and then we'll go to Shat.
So as a mommy and as a wife, I get it. Like, even just this podcast is my thing. Like, this is my thing away from being a mommy, from being a social worker, from being a wife. This is my thing. You only got one life, and there's only 24 hours a day. And to expect a mother and a wife to give their whole entire life and all of their 24 hours to their family is just so unrealistic, and it's not fair, because we have our own dreams, we have our own aspirations, we have our own goals, we have our own things that we've worked towards and worked on, and it's not fair for that to be put on the back burner for eternity just to make sure that our husband and our children can fulfill their dreams and their goals. Because where at what point is it even a point for me to live life if it's always being lived for the to always give to somebody else? At some point, you got to give back to yourself. And so she has every right, and she's so young. She has every single right to be like, the 8 years are done.
Mm-hmm.
You did the 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not running again. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
my husband wants to do after this is fine. There was no other office that he's going to hold that is higher than this that would even remotely require her presence. He can do that by himself. At this point, she has every right to go do whatever the hell she wants to do or not do. And that's a period. There's no speculation to add to it on if there's a divorce happening, if it's a midlife crisis or anything. No, it's a complete answer. I want to do this. It's a complete answer. I don't have to expand on that. I don't have to give you a reason. What I want to do is enough. That's it.
Okay. Hey, Michael. Shaq.
I have to
your turn. Go ahead.
Hey, Michael.
We love Michael.
We do. I have to piggyback what Natasha said. The first thing that I want to say is Obama has been gone from office for a while. Let's be clear. So his term ended in 2017. Okay. So and I think that sometimes we forget that. All right. Obama's term ended in 2017. Her job as first lady ended in 2017. She was not the president. All right. And I think that so much has been placed upon her that was not placed upon all the other first. We don't even see Trump's wife, right? Like, we don't know where she is.
The active president.
And we don't know where she is. And she has been clear that you not gonna know where she at till she ready to be seen. But true. Obama's term ended in 2017, and Michelle Obama is still being taken to task on the internet for not showing up to stuff that ain't got nothing to do with her. That was not her job. She has not run for office. She has never been in anybody's office. Leave that woman alone. That is where I stand on it. Leave her alone. Let her live her life. When she wants to be seen, she'll be seen. And it's very frustrating to see her having to defend herself for a job that she didn't know. I'm just like, why is there so much pressure on her? I think being the first of anything, obviously, I guess is, intimidating, or it's a lot. But at the end of the day, first or not, they're done. Like, their role is over. And I think that's just what it comes down to. Let her live. But I mean, it says a lot about how much we love her. But with all that love comes listen, her life was hijacked during the presidency as well. I mean, she was so visible, right? She was so visible, more visible. There were so many demands placed upon her, even when he was in office. Yeah. And so when we really think about it, man, how much of her life has she lost?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of it.
I don't think she
like that. I agree with both of you. I just wanted to explore that other maybe.
That. But especially in this environment.
Yeah, especially in this environment. I do want to say, though, I guess I do understand Black women have been doing this from the beginning of time. Even in my own mom, I see as the matriarch of our family, she just makes sure she's always on go for other people. She's always on go for me, my stepdad, my aunt, my nieces. But she's always on go. And now I'm like, Mom, it's time for you to settle down, to have your own. Like, you need to retire. It's time for you to sit down. You've always been doing stuff for other people. But I think, is that just the Black woman experience?
Yes, it is. When you tell her to sit down, then really it's time for her to do her, because when has she actually done her? So when you really think about it, we don't ever sit down till we die.
We don't. Yeah. We don't ever live for ourselves. Like, my mom has picked up crafting, like, just within the last year. She has a whole room, and a couple weekends ago she did a whole Zoom retreat, and she said, y'all can't come to my house because I'm gonna be doing my Zoom meeting. I said,
I love it.
She was like, and if y'all do come over, y'all need to be out before my meeting starts. And I said, I will honor that. And
that should make you feel good, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the world is socialized to put us to work. Like, even when we're at work, we get volunteered for stuff. People want us involved in stuff. They like us. We're this, we're that. Like, I think it's just the experience. If you're out in public, people want your help. They want to hear your opinion. They kids is around. It's weird. It's like people have almost an ownership for you as a Black woman. I'm telling you, it's such an interesting experience to even be networking or anything like that, and to see the response to you or the expectation of you, almost like, just leave me alone. And then
it's crazy that
we always
it's crazy that we're not allowed to enjoy our time.
Yeah.
That we're not allowed to rest.
And that's it right there,
That
Natasha.
part.
That's it right there. You're not allowed to rest. And
We're not allowed to rest. We're not allowed to enjoy our time. And then, like Shaq said, they wonder why we're angry. But when we're trying to get to the point of peace, and when we're trying to get to the point of joy and happiness, is well, we need you. No, I need me. I mean,
look what's happening in the political process. You know, non-Black women are collectively like, we've done enough. Like we so tired. We told y'all how to vote. Like, I mean, but even then, the fact that we even that movement even exists.
But it needs to. It needs to because everybody's heads would have turned to us first with, what are y'all doing? We ain't doing shit. That's what we ain't doing.
Well, you guys know what? Let's get to a bunch of Black women who aren't really doing what needs to be done. Ratings, it's not by me. According to our friends at Love B. Scott, it says The Real Housewives of Atlanta is having a very complicated season 16. This past Sunday's episode drew just 500,000 live viewers. Now, and they said it's the lowest rated episode of the season and of the whole entire series so far, marking yet another dip in viewership as Bravo tries to breathe new life into its once dominant franchise. What do we think about this? Is it time for OGs to return? Is it time to go on hiatus for a couple of years? Well, they already did and came back with this mess. So what do we think?
I think the stars are gone. I never really. I know of this show, and one of my very best friends was my homie Mo. What's up, Mo Dizzle? Mo Dizzle loved the show. I used to watch the show with her. I've never personally just enjoyed it on my own. But with that being said, I knew the people. Who these people?
Mm-hmm. Well,
didn't they kick her off?
Excuse me?
Is Kenya still there?
Kenya, her last episode was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. You see where I'm going with this though? Like, who these people? That's the thing. Like, as someone who is not an actual watcher or whatever, I always knew who was there. Where are the stars? Now you guys can talk amongst yourselves as actual watchers, but I, as someone who's not a watcher, who these people? And I recognize Phaedra, but is that enough to make me watch? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. But who rest of the people? Nope.
Yeah, but you guys, I will say, I know, Shaq, you're not an avid watcher. Natasha, I know you watch, but I think the unsung hero of this season is, I think it's going to be Miss Angela Oakley. I'm really falling in love with her.
Oh, that's a good looking woman, though. Hello.
She's from the Shy. Natasha, what do you think? You're not a fan of Angela?
She's growing on me a little bit.
Okay.
She's growing on me. I won't say that I'm like a fan of hers yet. Shamia is really the one for me this season.
Really? Okay.
I love Shamia.
I know
Portia, we had the expectation that, she was going to be showing her marriage, and there is no more marriage to show. So that's a bust. And then Phaedra was the Hail Mary once Kenya got kicked off. Britt is proving to be a bigger disappointment each and every week. And so at this point, they can't go on a hiatus, because that really, I think that was part of what killed this season from the start. There's no organic friendships. So there's only really that we know of Shamia and Portia that were genuine friends before this show started. So there is no background with these women. There is nothing that was going on 5 years ago that now the camera has picked up on and we get to watch it. There's nothing organic here. Nothing. And so I think that's one of the biggest missing pieces. I think that's what happened with the reboot with Roni. It was just throwing a whole bunch of people together that had no background whatsoever. They just started hanging out that summer and then was like, okay, y'all figure this out. And that's what we're getting with Atlanta. And so now they're trying to create something where nothing can be created because there's nothing organic to start with. So at this point, they either need to hang it up or they need to find an actual group of friends in Atlanta and go ahead and start there, because this is not working and it's not going to work for another year or
The
another
way I
season.
feel, Natasha, about this, I feel like these shows are starting to hire a lot of influencers. They're not really like women of means, or like, I don't want to see a 20-year-old fighting with her baby daddy. I can go next door, across the hall, and see that. I don't have to turn that on TV. I want to see women with affluent lifestyles, big grand parties, $1,000 shopping sprees. That what the show is supposed to be about. I think it's
which is what you're going to get with Shamia.
Well, if they're going to bring on an influencer, they need to bring on big influencer, and they need to, in my opinion, bring on an influencer from more that is an influencer of folks like us, because them young folks ain't watching TV like that.
They tried that with Latoya Forever that season, and it would
have to be.
And maybe they could try her again.
What's my girl in Target? It would have to be somebody like that to bring in.
Like a Tabitha Brown.
Yes, but that's
no.
the type of influencer you'd have to bring in to make somebody watch, I think.
Well, I don't know. Hey Brandy, we love you.
I think it's because we're not getting none of these women knew each other.
Yeah,
none of them knew each other.
I agree with Natasha,
because like the Valley on Bravo, the Valley, they in second season. That is good. They all knew each other. They had a background. They had background for years, so there is organic conflict there. That show is good.
Well, you want to know what other housewife show got it right is Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Ooh, so good. Again, they knew each other. Like Heather and Lisa, they went to high school together.
Yeah.
So there's organic history.
Real relationships.
Real relationships.
Where Nene at? We've been asking for Nene back for forever.
Okay, but the only thing is who do we bring on with her to make it not what it was like 10 years ago, but to make it something fresh and new.
And bring back that white lady.
That's another. Kim just did an interview. Kim just did an interview yesterday with Page Six, and she said they don't have enough money for her.
She $99. That would help her out a lot.
We be watching
and take craft services, take the gas card, take the $500 Target gift card, and call it a day. Who are you to act like you too good and somebody needs to afford you? Bitch, all your shit foreclosed and all your shit is a shut off, and you gonna act like somebody gotta pay you 7 figures to get girl.
I would love to see Nene and Kim back in the mix.
I would watch for that. I would.
But we'll have to see what happens for season 17.
Do you think they would just let that? Do you think they would just let it go?
What? Let what go?
Housewives of Atlanta. Maybe would you think they would just release the franchise? Would they ever just like? If
it ever becomes more cost to produce, then they're getting a return on investment. They would, just like they did Miami.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would shutter it.
Yeah, so
and it worked out for Miami when they actually tabled it for a few years, because Miami sucked back in the day, but Miami is good now. I'm actually looking forward to the new season starting. So that might be what they need to do.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's move on. One person who I would love to hear their opinion right now, we can't hear from her, is Wendy Williams. She's in the news again this week, but I think it might be heading in the right direction, you guys.
I think so as well.
These receipts were just released. Let me get the information right. I don't want nobody trying to take me to court. So there were some receipts released this week from Wendy Williams' official Instagram page, showing proof that Dr. Rami Kaminsky was paid a total of $60,000 on the following dates on Wendy's personal and corporate Amex cards without her knowledge of consent. Sunday, November 7th, 2021, $10,000. Saturday, November 20th, 2021, another $10,000. Saturday, December 4th, 2021, a total of $10,000. Sunday, December 19th, 2021, a total of $10,000. And Thursday, December 30th and Friday, January 14th of 2022, 2 payments of $10,000. And here they are. So up here you see Wendy Hunter. We have they blacked out the account information. This detail, this is, I don't know if you can see, this was payment to the doctor. Here's another one, same thing, payment to the doctor. Same thing, payment to the doctor. And this is the cherry on the cake. This is the note that was generated from the doctor on January 20th of 2022 to the guardian of Lori Schiller. Wendy Williams. This says, Dear Mrs. Schiller, Miss Williams has been my patient for over a year now. Over the last 6 months, she has been unable to make reasoned decisions, and her insight and judgment are severely impaired. Sincerely, Rami Kaminsky, MD. So what do we think about that? Does it sound fishy to you?
2 sentences grounded this woman.
Exactly.
Yes, it sounds fishy. It looked like that doctor's note that you doctor up when you want to take the weekend and go to the club. That's what that looked like. That's what that looked like.
It just needs to say to whom it may concern.
Yes.
You know, could they do this to a Barbara Walters or
no, they could not.
Or Diane Sawyer or
no, they could not. They played in this woman's face, and now you mean to tell me that all it took to take down Wendy Williams was $60K? And
if they paid him $60K, what did the other people get?
2 sentences and $60K. Boy, her celebrity wasn't worth much at all, huh?
Right. And these, as we know, these conservatorships are not easy to get out of. I can't believe it's that easy.
They got her in with 2 sentences. I'm telling you, that note, I seen that note before. I used that note a couple of years ago. That's the note that I used when I didn't want to go to work that Friday because I had plans. The girl I was dating at the time, we was gonna get some Thai food, and then we had some tickets, and then we was hungover from the night before. I'm telling you, I used that same note. That's
no,
the note.
Shaq, I'm being serious. Like,
that's the note.
So Wendy has. So just think, if they're doing this to people with substantial amount of money, think of what they're doing to
regular
everyday niggas like me and you who don't got nothing in the bank. You know,
we don't stand a chance in hell. Be careful who you upset, because 2 sentences can take you down. They wouldn't even do nothing for us.
It's a wrap.
Right, and I wish Michael was on here tonight because I can't believe it's that easy. Like,
I don't even need to know.
But yet Kanye is out here just independent as
Kanye is a male.
We're not doing that tonight. We're not doing
We ain't got to. We ain't got to, but I'm just saying. I know we purposely ain't doing it tonight. However, I'm just saying. It was so easy, and she had nothing else, nothing going on in her life that would remotely give cause to her needing a guardian.
Except getting drunk. And that's
not illegal.
That's
there
all
was nothing.
Now. That's all
there was no like repeated bad behavior, chronic bad behavior, long-term bad behavior for anything to ever tip off her needing a guardian.
It wasn't against the law to drink yourself.
Exactly. And excessive spending of your own money is not reason to need a guardian. You can spend your own damn money.
Conservatorship is a very, 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 very strong thing. And to have gotten in it just from that note is absurd. And that should have raised an alarm, right? Why didn't it raise an alarm?
Because they had the infrastructure set up for it to not raise the alarm, so that everybody that was in on it or that needed to be in on it was put in place.
I feel like in 10 years, somebody is going to make a really good documentary about the grounding of Wendy Williams. And we're going to
that's gonna give about 4 years. It ain't gonna take that long. Not even. That'll be on Netflix and Tubi.
It's gonna be an expose, and we're gonna be talking about what? Because
Yeah. Speaking of what, here we go with this.
Oh, Jesus. Help us.
Okay, so before we get into this, because we're about to go down a rabbit hole here. I have several clips and several photos. So I don't even know how to even set this up. First off, this hit the airwaves a couple days ago. I'm going to show you the first clip, and then we'll go clip by clip. But the same person who has been trying to take down Jay-Z and trying to take down Diddy is the same person who released this audio clip, Tony Busby. I want to put that out there before I get on Shannon too much. But then we're going to go get into Shannon.
Because I do not think that people immediately thought that Shannon was guilty of anything.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. Let's watch this clip. Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did to me.
Okay, well...
First off, I hate that conversation. So apparently the girl in question who's on that call is this individual. See, nope, we're not starting it yet. Y'all already want to act up.
Oh, Lord.
This is someone by the name of I did not get her name. I believe it's
Zuniga.
Okay. Anyways, this is a photo of her, and this is a photo of her. Apparently, now she is of age. We hear that she's now 19 or 20.
No,
Gabriella.
21 now.
Okay, she's 21 now. Now, I did some cutting and pasting of stuff, and at the same time of this famous Monique.
Oh no, she ain't even 21. They say she's 20 now.
Okay, there was a Monique interview that went viral with Shannon Sharpe in January, I want to believe. And this is the advice Monique had for him. Let's look at this.
Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say what you tried to say. Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at what
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me
tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I know.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Damn.
When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen.
Followed by
date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight. I want to date my wage.
Stay right there. Stay right.
Where y'all at? Hey, chat, where they at?
Hold on. Cause you know I keep it on me now.
Yeah.
I keep it on me. You want to date your what?
I want to date my wage. Not my age. I want to date my wage. So where are they? Cause y'all always talking about date your age. I want to date my wage. So come on with it.
Well, you talking?
As a matter of fact, I'm taking Apple.
Followed by.
Is owned by Walt Disney. Nobody temporarily walks away from a multi-million-dollar job. But let me tell you why I'm irritated, because I tried to save Shannon Sharpe. I tried to save her. Now, if you recall, I ran into Shannon Sharpe at the NAACP Awards. I stopped him. I said, Shannon, I got 10,000 girls I could hook you up with. If you don't remember, take a look. I already know it. I got what you looking for. I got like 10,000 girls. He walked away. 7 seconds could have changed his whole life. All he gave me was 7 seconds. Shannon, you should have sat your ass there and listened to me. Look at all these beautiful girls. Look at all these beautiful girls on the Kendra G singles dating app you had access to in their 30s. I know you want them young, so I went to 30s. You can search by age, location, education, kids, all that on the Kendra G singles dating app. I know you got a type. This your type. I know you got a type. They are on the Kendra G singles dating app, but you walked away from me. Now you got to walk away from ESPN too. Next time you better listen when a black woman's trying to tell you something.
What do we think? So that's 3 that we know about that tried to warn him. That's just what we know about.
What I think is that all these black women who tried to warn Shannon Sharpe are the enemy, right? Because black women don't want that. I know a lot of heterosexual black women. None of them want to be choked, and none of them want to be forced into oral or anal. And it is clear that this man likes to violate boundaries. So no, he don't need to date nobody in our community. First of all, he don't need to date nobody, but he definitely don't need to come back to the sisters. Leave the sisters alone. That's what I think. They trying to warn him. Why are we trying to warn him? This man is a predator. We need to be running from him. All of our homegirls need to run.
Okay. Allegedly.
Well, they allegedly need to run. That's what they need. They need to allegedly run.
So you're saying he's a predator because he likes anal sex and he likes.
No, I'm saying you a predator because you allegedly like to choke women and then forcibly get a little anal. Because see, all these stories coming out are very consistent about the choking and the forcing and the aggression. That's
now,
coming out.
Fair,
forcing and aggression in the stories.
I have to be fair, Shaq. There were reports that this girl, like, this was stuff that she has egged on. Now they're trying to turn it around and make him look a certain way.
Okay, did you hear about the story that dropped this some years ago? He had paid off somebody that worked because he had choked up somebody.
I did. Hold on, let me find that. It's on here somewhere.
Because
yes, and this is what his lawyer had to say about that. It should be of no surprise that when someone famous is in the news, all sorts of people crawl out of the woodwork to share their connection to that person in an attempt to profit from that alleged relationship. Attorney Mitchell Schuster said in the statement, in many cases, those stories or accusations are nothing more than old news, fanciful exaggerations, or sometimes blatant misrepresentations of fact. They are shared on social media or fed to reporters with intentional factual omissions and no regard for the truth. This is obviously purposeful, designed to create fabricated narrative. I will jump to the end. You guys can read the rest. The fact is that Shannon has had no contact with this person for many years, and it is our understanding that she is still on probation after serving 3 years in prisons for trying to kill her husband so that she could hopefully pursue a relationship with Shannon.
Okay, I'm talking about the employee because there was another story. The one I'm talking about is he worked with somebody and choked her up at work.
Really?
Yeah, it's another one. There's one, and he worked with her previously at, I think it was Fox News or something, and he yoked her up, and then he paid off. I know who you're talking about, the Michelle Evans one. What I'm saying is there are multiple stories out there. And then, you know what these multiple clips of all these black women warning him say to me? That they know that he out there doing the most, right? They know that he out there messing around with young white girls possibly, and they telling him, hey, man, you better leave that alone before you get yourself yoked up. So, I mean, and let me, you know what? Let me just jump ahead of all that. And let me just jump to this part.
Okay.
Children, okay? Mm-hmm. A 19-year-old is a child. This man is pushing 60 years old.
No, she's not. No, she's not. I can't let you say that. She's not.
Legally. She is legally of age.
Okay.
But what do we know about the brain, people? You are on your impaired insurance until you are what? 25, 26? Because medical science points to the fact that some people are just young. And so with that being said, is he legally okay? Sure. But a man pushing 60, a rich, powerful man pushing 60, messing with a 19-year-old is icky. Period. So I find him to be icky. And the more these stories come out, all of it is just icky. And the more I see clips of black women warning him, I'm like, y'all know he icky. That's what it looked like to me. But hey.
Can I tell you what it looks like to me? We can all agree to disagree, but I believe these are black women trying to protect we don't have that many rich millionaire black men.
Yeah, I think that was more of a black fantasy that we love.
Diddy, Jay-Z, and look, not even black women. We have, and I never agree with anything Boozy has to say.
Oh God.
Was he about to buy NBC?
He tweeted, she heard he was about to get that 100 million. I'm sick of these hoes on they be knowing they can probably get a couple million to make it go away. Y'all making it bad for women. Successful men go be scared to talk to women. Shaking my head. I'm sick of y'all broke PUSSYHOES taking this route to get money. Go to San Francisco, meet some tech guys, sell your PUSSY and get rich. Bird brain. I don't know.
That's a child. I don't care what nobody say. I don't. If
technically,
with a 60-year-old man, I don't think he'd be excited to see it either. Shit, this is craziness. Let me tell y'all something. Messing with these young girls should always be the story. All right. Everybody out here now talking about, they trying to catch a black man up. No, I don't care what color she is. That is a 19-year-old child. And it's disgusting. You are too old, rich, and powerful to be messing with a 19-year-old anything. Period.
Because why would you even set yourself up like that, especially this late in the game? Like, I could see if this was like when he was first getting started in the NFL and everything, but at this point, he was famous. His face was everywhere. So why would you even set your career up to potentially fall when stuff goes left with a 19-year-old? Nothing good can ever come out of a crash out or a burnout with a 19-year-old. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Did you read the text and stuff and all the race talk and stuff?
Yeah. Why would you have that exchange at your big age with a 19-year-old now? With a 40 or 45-year-old?
With anyone.
Okay, sure. But with a 19-year-old like that, why? Why?
We do have to be fair. We have to read his statement. Shannon Sharpe made his statement is, my statement is, quote, my statement is found here, and this is the truth. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. At this juncture, I'm electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I'll be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues. Shannon Sharpe.
Baby, any argument you want to make for him, whether it is consensual or not, goes out the door when you see how young this young lady is. It's just for me, I struggle to see relationships like this is consensual, because all I think when I see it is this is a child. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. I mean, she may be legal, but she is just too young. This man is too old, too rich, and too powerful. How can you possibly be certain at that age and at that financial level, when you're talking to a 19-year-old, how can you possibly be certain that this child only wants to sleep with you because they want to, as opposed to feeling pressured or any of those things? Like the power dynamic is just too large for me to be comfortable. He shouldn't be comfortable with it. Because let me tell you, what I can tell you is that there are women who have felt coerced into sex, or who have done it with someone because they kind of felt like they were powerless in the situation. You know, like at that age, it's just no. I struggle to see it. I can't help but wonder if ever there was a time when she wanted out and didn't know how to get out because of who he is.
Wait, say that again. Say what you just said again.
I struggle to think if there was ever a time when she would have ever felt comfortable getting out if she wanted to get out because of his level of power.
Then why get in it in the first place?
Why not? Was he?
Now listen, I'm not taking his side by no means.
Her around the gym like she said. Oh, maybe he was paying her. Was he paying her? I don't know. 25K a cheek. Maybe 25K a cheek. You can get one of my cheeks for 20K. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
You're so stupid.
I got cheeks available. You get one for 10. The way these bills set up. Call me, ladies. You know what I'm saying?
I need to ruin my train.
You're too young
to say.
Too young. I can't get with it. I can't get jiggy with it. Leave them kids alone.
But you know what, Shat? There's a culture that lives in this LA lifestyle. Why don't we say anything when Leonardo DiCaprio's dating the 19-year-old? Or hold on, let me finish. Or when any of these, or Hugh Hefner, any of these other white rich moguls, what is the difference? I mean,
they have said stuff about
people
them.
are saying it.
Okay,
but
why are we giving it the same energy? Leonardo DiCaprio can go out and not be canceled anywhere as of today.
I don't think Leo ever been sued though.
Has he been what?
Has he been sued? Because
that's my thing. Why hasn't he? I mean,
no. Well,
we never have these big scandals with these white guys like this. That we don't.
Okay, but if there was never a lawsuit, then no, there wouldn't be a scandal there. So you got to.
There been any lawsuit?
Well, you got to put that. You got to put that question back to the black men that keep on putting themselves in this position to have a lawsuit in the first place.
Right.
That ain't the question. The question is, why are you putting yourself in this position?
Can I also
hold on? Let me read this. Hold on. These comments are coming in really fast. Melvin said she ain't coerced into anything. She's looking for exactly. She's a hooker, her choice. Okay, I didn't say that exactly, but let's. I think it's all nasty. Don't matter the color. Old men dating these young women is predatory. Okay, but you know the black man will always be.
And black men know that too
because he's black. That's what I'm saying. Amen.
All these things can be true at the same time.
You're right. They can be. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be worth millions and potentially hundreds of millions of dollars and put that at risk for a 19-year-old. In what world? I don't even think I would put that at risk for a 30-year-old. You need to have just as much to lose, if not more than me, for me to even deal with you. And personally, I've always preferred older men. Like when I was younger,
I offered her $10 million.
However,
he offered her $10 million.
The fact that there was an offering. And you did that. Why? Yeah. You don't offer $10 million of your hard-earned money if you don't think that you did
and then
wrong.
She didn't go for it. And you know what? I would be willing to bet that part of not going for it is youth. You know, these young people, they don't come from that other time.
You're right. You're right. These are
they always have freedom.
Calculated young this new generation.
They from the old time. They've been watching social media all their life. People get exposed. They believe
because the way Bill set up, he would have bought my silence at you. So,
and you know what?
You give me $500K, baby. The way he's getting set up.
Okay.
I don't have no money in the bank. And you know what I had to do yesterday? I was in a situation where I was working on a project, and it was gonna have to be me and just a model alone. And I was like, nope, we're gonna do this when I have an assistant here. Because I know how 19-year-old minds think when they think you might have something they want, or this generation is, you can't be too, you have to be careful just to cover yourselves at all times.
And they also come from a time where people get justice. These kids have grown up seeing people get put to task, so I think that when he went to her with that, she was like, so the question is, did he do it or didn't he do it? I don't know. We don't know for sure. But what I can tell you is that he did something. And she said no to that 10
Hold on. Melvin said white women do it, black women do it, all women do it. They chase young men and they ain't really looked down upon.
They are.
Yeah, I don't think you don't see women chasing young men as much as you see men chasing young women. You don't. You don't. Not at the same rate. I'm not saying that older women don't.
Not the same rate. Not the same rate.
Not at the same rate. No.
And what this story is about is actual assault, right? And so if she can approve assault, and let me tell you, it's not looking good. I mean, I've been reading stuff, and this stuff is just not looking good, and everything that he puts out, it just looks bad either way. It's all just wrong. All of it is wrong.
But can we look at the fact that Tony Busby why is he always in the midst of this kind of shit?
Because he's known. I think if you're going to do something like this, you don't want an attorney who can't get you no press. I mean, come on.
I think he might be a little bit of a cousin to Gloria Allred. I'll give you that. But in this situation, I mean, we actually have audio. And then the crazy thing is, you see how stupid Shannon is, because that phone exchange, that sounds crazy. And for you to sit here and say that that's how y'all role played, and that was a regular thing. Nothing in her reaction gave role play, because if you said, I'm gonna choke you in public, and we role play like that, I'm gonna be like, yes, daddy. I ain't gonna just sit there and be quiet and sound like I'm scared for my life. That girl sounded petrified. For Shannon to not clock that, I'm sorry. I think over it. I'm sorry. She either sounded over it or she sounded scared. I don't think that was a normal exchange of them role playing with being kinky and all of that. No, not in that phone conversation. That did not sound like a regular role playing conversation to me.
I'm gonna tell you what that sounded like to me, and that's just me. It sounded like, yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And but that should have that. Why did Shannon not clock that? Why did his old ass not clock that?
Right.
Why did he not clock that? She sounded different.
To make her take it here. Like, what happened? There's something here. He's doing something. There's something here. There's something here. I did not, and I'm saying this now as a person who started out.
I agree, Melvin.
Like, he didn't do anything wrong. I didn't think Uncle Shay was
I'll give y'all not scared, but he should have clocked it. There was nothing in that conversation that was giving even kinky role playing exchange. That was, I'm checked out. And let me make sure I'm recording this conversation, because now I got your black ass.
Yeah.
And so at that point, how did he not pick that up? And he just still kept going. That's how stupid he is, and that just goes to show his lack of judgment.
And I don't feel bad for him.
And I don't feel bad for him.
Not messing with them little freshman college girls. You nasty, old nasty. Ugh. I don't feel bad for you at all. That's what you get. That's what I think. That's what he get. And I think that, and you know what infuriates me on the internet is all these black men coming out acting like we're supposed to champion him. There are a lot of brothers out there who not doing this type of stuff. There are a lot of famous brothers who ain't doing this type of stuff. I don't know what it is about black men that makes them run a rush, other than the fact that they probably doing that stuff. That's what I'm starting to think when I see these brothers rushing up and taking up for him. I'm like, you must be doing that stuff, because we got plenty of examples of black men who are out there who are famous, who are making money, who are with their families, and who aren't getting caught with 19-year-old little kids of any hue. So I don't know, man.
I have a question for you too. What are some reasons that older men date younger women?
I mean,
in your opinion, as black women, what are your opinions?
Beauty, youth, being fertile, because she can bear his children if he decides to have that route. Some would say manipulation, but
the
are much more impressionable. They haven't had that life experience where they have truly formed a solid opinion about a lot of
stuff. They can't tell you they ain't got the mental to say you a creep. They like, hey, you rich, you got a nice car, can I ride? Yes, you can. Just not having the mental to, what you see now on the net all the time are older women who have flashbacks to their youth and talk about, I just realized I was 19 and I was dating a 40-year-old. When you're young, you ain't really looking at it like that. You're not. And I think that young people are impressionable. And I think for somebody like him, being able to play with him.
Jackie, I have to disagree. A stable man doesn't need a wife. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I think at some point you have to be looking at yourself and going, this is who I am. This is what I've built. This is what I'm on. And I'm not willing to throw this away. And I need to move smarter and strategically. And at no point does this man appear to have had these thoughts. And it's like, you're almost 60 years old, bro.
Exactly my point.
And that don't mean you gotta get somebody as old as Monique while she on there sweet baby and them. Hey, maybe you don't like them old. I'm not, do you
go younger? I mean, like I said, I would be a big old hypocrite
with nothing to use. If you dating that young, you need to go get you a little pop star, somebody with their own money. Like, come on, man, picking up little young broke sex workers in the gym, weirdo. No.
Well, this is going to be the story that keeps on giving for at least another month. So you guys can,
because another woman just came out.
Yeah, and it's going to be that, with this.
Well, now that it's got started, now you're going to have to dig through, because I'm not saying that all these women are telling the truth or lying. What I'm saying is, once it gets big like this, it's open season, right? So now you got to find the truth in all the stories. But I think that one thing is apparent, which is that at 19 years old, he's a creep. And he's a creep, whether he's legally creeping or not.
And even if you don't believe that he's a creep, he's a whole ass idiot for putting his entire empire at risk for some 19-year-old puss.
Jokey.
Because, you keep on calling her Jackie.
I can't see. You guys know I'm blind. I can't see.
You really can't see.
I'm sorry.
Because you old, and we definitely know you ain't gonna mess with no 19-year-old because you old and you can't see.
Imagine you in 20 years up and trying to get a 19-year-old.
But people talk about me because I got a 30-year-old in the next room.
Well, because we are in a time now where people are examining age differences. I mean, I dated someone, I will be honest, and we have maybe a 10-year age difference, and I struggle with it.
That's me and Hector. We're 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my husband is one of the few people that were actually my age. Most of the people I dated were older, but that was a preference. But I knew what it was, and I played my role. You ain't never gonna catch me recording no phone call. You ain't never gonna catch me trying to get one over on somebody neither. And I mean, I kept the roster. So
I can see that.
You really couldn't like have one up on me because I always had one up on you. So it's different. It's different.
You know what I always tell people? Just get adults. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you're looking at these big age differences, we need to make sure that these women are of an age where people are not going to look at you and think that, what are you doing? And I think that, had she been 26, 27, we'd have been like, she young and it's kind of icky, but do you? But at that age, that is just got out of high school age. That is, if you're still living at home in your mama house and don't have a car, nobody's going to think ill of you age. And so it's just, no, not at your big age, not with all you're establishing, not with all you're doing, because he has increasingly become more and more visible. I mean, the show, you know, he's all over ESPN now. He's got his own show. He's getting more and more fame. You know, he's becoming more and more. Now people are trying to get on his show. Like, he's actively just building and increasing his empire. And it's just like, what you doing, man?
Jokey says they can't go more than one round when they're in their 50s. So, like, what makes them
Hey, maybe he can, though. You know, you never know.
I'd like to know what man. Well,
he take care of himself.
Never mind. I'll get.
He might
He might
get
be
a
able
little,
to do
he
that.
might get a little blue pill, get a little X in his
He might be
party
able to
night.
do something. I don't know. But I know chasing little children. Ugh. And I hate that the race talk has kind of obscured that, because now we're so busy talking about white women destroying black men that we're forgetting to talk about the fact that this is a very
no. I think they're equally talking about both.
Yeah, they need to.
And that makes that's still again that's what makes him an even bigger.
And also, I don't want to hear
trying
nothing about her selling it either, because you know you can't sexually assault sex workers either. Like, no means no, and she said that in a text or something, right? No means no, and it should mean no. Period.
But,
so
okay, yeah, we'll be talking about. I have a question for you two tonight. There was recently Raven Simone was recently on a podcast, and her and her wife revealed that they have separate bedrooms.
I saw that.
And this is just off the top of my head because I just saw something scroll, and I want to talk about this. What do we think about that?
We have a spare bedroom that my husband sleeps in sometimes, and then we sleep in the same bed sometimes because the mattress tears his back up, or the mattress that he prefers tears me up. But yeah, no, there's nothing strange. I guess I just talked about something that's strange to me.
I want to know what we think about it, because a lot of people in the comments.
I think it's a little different. I personally would not want to be in a different room from my spouse, but I cannot lie. I was thinking about it, and I was like, but I'd be able to do what I wanted to do in my own room and decorate it the way I want and all that.
And that's what they were saying.
You got it like that? Okay. With that being said, though, Raven and her wife being the messenger is the weird part, because something about them two just kind of throws me off. I don't know what it is.
I think that's what it is.
The ick sometimes about a couple kind of give me the ick.
Same. I thought I was the only one that thought that about them. I
don't know why. I don't know what it is. Something about them though just don't sit.
Well, Raven got something going on because she's one of the richest bitches in Hollywood right now.
Well, yeah,
I mean, good for her.
Raven, they did right by her money.
Good for her.
But them people did right by her money. Listen, Raven. I grew up watching Raven. Love her, fantastic. But something about her and the wife is weird to me. I don't know.
Very true.
I don't think there's anything wrong.
Something is off.
I think
that's not what I'm talking about.
I think you get into the trouble when it happens night after night after night, and then it just becomes a normal thing. Because I've known couples that's happened to, and me and Hector, we don't like the same. I like musical theater, TV shows, cooking shows. He likes Dracula stuff, wrestling, RuPaul's Drag Race. So we have our separate rooms where when we want to watch our own things, we're in our separate rooms. But at night, we'll get into this bed together, and we will wake up together. I just can't see. I don't know. That's just me.
But like sometimes when
text, I was like, oh,
like. Okay. If my husband sleeps in the other room, when he wakes up in the morning, he'll come in the bed with me and we'll go down and wake up together and stuff like that. So it's not like that black and white where you always sleep in the same bed and y'all never ever have any interaction with each other, because we still have interaction with each other in our bed. But sometimes when it's just time to go to sleep, or like when he just gets off the road, he is super tired and he sleeps extra hard. So even with his CPAP machine, he still snores that night. But like that's the night that I'm gonna let him get some sleep. And in the morning, like I'll go crawl in the bed with him when it's time to wake up, and we'll, say good morning to each other for a few minutes and get up and start our day. So it's not so black and white.
You're right.
Like sleeping separately night after night.
But now that I think about it, the people that I know of that live actively like that, the marriages is not close. But that's just who I know.
And that's what I was getting at when I said it can happen. It can happen. Okay, you fall asleep on the couch one night, or not even like Natasha's case by case basis. But when you do it night after night after night after night, then that leaves something to be desired. That's when it turns into, okay, I'm sleeping in here, I'm gonna masturbate and not tell them, and that's when that kind of starts getting. If your relationship's not solid, I can see it getting.
Maybe it's different for rich people though. Like
that face you're making is taking me down.
Honestly, like Shaq said, I think I would rather hear this.
The people I know who do it
come from a different couple, because Raven and her wife, they're just very different to me. I think like if like Sierra and Russell said this, because we love them so much, I think we'd be like, well, tell us more. How does this work? What is this like? But I think coming from Raven and Miranda, it's just like, y'all can keep that. We don't care.
I know Russell Wilson tastes so amazing.
I know Sierra do.
Here we go. Excuse me if I offended anyone. I just had I was thinking out loud. I'm sorry. I don't mean to turn anybody off, but he does.
I mean, he keeps her pregnant. So if we found out them two slept in different rooms, we would be like, clearly this is working for y'all. Y'all need to tell us how this works, because clearly.
No, you guys, I'm still thinking about how amazing Russell probably tastes. He just looks like, you know how you look at some people and you can just assume they taste good. Like,
that's why Sierra always pregnant. Child.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot I was moderator.
Y'all both.
Do you know there was a time, and y'all remember back in the day when they used to say that Sierra was transsexual?
Yes, I just saw that.
Ignorance.
Just went down my Instagram a few days.
And back then I was like, I'm with it.
So you guys, that's the end of our show tonight. I told you it was a pop-up, it was a hit and run. We have so much content coming out the next 3 weeks for you. You're not gonna miss us. We have, like I said, we have our Met Gala special on May 6th. Then we have our normal show May 7th, and then we're gonna have a show the next week, and we have a celebrity guest popping in for our Met Gala special.
And tell them what the Met Gala is. Remind them of the theme. We should yes. What's that theme again? Black and something. Tailoring in black.
Black tailor.
Black is beautiful. It has something to do with black men.
Black.
Brothers dressed
blackity black.
You
know it's gonna smell like shea butter out there.
Get out of here. Please like and share. Everyone, please like and share.
Y'all know how Coleman gonna be out there.
You guys have really been turning up the likes and the rewatches lately, and we're just trying to going into our 4th season. We're trying to do some new and exciting stuff. I'm really excited about what the 4th season is going to bring. I'm excited about our celebrity guests we have coming up in a couple of weeks.
I'm excited.
If you want to be a blessing to this show, you can cash app Ash the Villain or through Zelle at villaindisco@gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in. Again, please like and share. We can't do it without you. Also, if you have anything that like any marketing that you might want, if you have t-shirts or you're a small business or anything of that nature, drop in my DM and we'll talk rates. We love you. Thank you again for watching. We will talk to you sooner or later. All right. I'm coming to Chicago in May. Are you? Maybe let's get some dinner, cuz we can chat politics and all that. So everyone else, I will see you later. Ladies, thank you for coming tonight with me. You were wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
We're a good little team.
Yeah, we always here.
All right. So you guys, talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.
Bye.